One of the many things David Cameron has promised is to make the Conservative Party at Westminster look more like Britain. More women, more people from ethnic minorities. Today we found out about the core of that strategy, what's been called the A list. It's the 150 people who are thought fit by Conservative headquarters to be considered for selection as prospective parliamentary candidates. And it's already causing ill feeling.
Keep young and beautiful. It's your duty to be beautiful.
While David Cameron was showcasing new Conservative women councillors today, other Tory hopefuls were opening letters like expectant A-level candidates. At stake, a place on the A list for prospective Tory MPs, 50% women and 10% ethnic minorities. Not everyone was pleased. A leading right-winger who received the thumbs down has already reserved an internet domain, nothealist.org.uk, to fight back and boost the chances of traditional right-wing Eurosceptic tax cutters. The strength of such a backlash isn't clear, but some right-wing candidates have been replaced by soap stars, authors and others apparently more in tune with the new Conservative Party leadership. Iain Dale is a former Tory candidate who discovered today he's not on the A-list. Sayeeda Warsi joins us from Leeds. She is on the list. Iain Dale, 104 people on this list, apparently. Isn't it simply a determination to put right a great wrong, which is the underrepresentation of women and ethnic minorities in your party at the top level?
Well, I think one thing that everybody in the Conservative Party believes is that there should be more women candidates. But I think some of us think that maybe this is attacking it in the wrong way. Another way of doing it would have been to say we'd have a candidates list of 600 people and 300 of them would have been women. We've actually got to encourage women into the party to become candidates in the first place. Yet at the moment, we seem to be saying, well, you need to be on the A list if you're actually going to get a seat if you're a woman.
Well, let's take a look at somebody who is on the A list, Adam Rickett. I think we've got a clip here. Well, you can see what he's got that you lack, obviously. Or perhaps you can't.
Well, do you want to see my six-pack, Gavin?
I mean, it's certainly reaching out to a different target audience, is it not?
Well, it is, and we have to do that. And I mean, I'm not going to get into slagging off individual people, but what there are 400 people out there in the country tonight who have effectively been told you are not going to be on the A list, you have no chance of being selected as a Conservative candidate at the next election. And yet these are the very people who've been tramping the streets up and down the country during the local elections, put in a huge amount of time, money and effort. They keep their local associations together. And particularly for the older element, those over 40 who've maybe only got one general election left, they're going to feel very rejected. So the problem for the party now is to make those people feel that they are still part of things.
OK, so you can see that the worst thing for you would be if anybody thought you were selected only because you were a woman or only because you were from an ethnic minority rather than because of your own merits.
That's right, Gavin, and I think that if anybody knows me, they will know that I've been a strong opponent of positive discrimination. But we have to remember that the A-list is something different. The A-list is effectively a stage, a spotlight, showcasing some of the best talent in our party, whether that's male, female, black, white, whatever background they come from. Because if we truly want to govern today's Britain, we must think and understand and look like today's Britain. And the A-list is really that stage, that showcase, spotlight out to associations to say we'd like you to select one of these, but ultimately the decision will be that of the association. And I think it's been a very responsible position that David Cameron has taken, where he has made it very clear to associations that ultimately the candidate has to be one of their choice.
But what role do you foresee for the traditional tax-cutting white male Eton-educated candidate of the past? I mean, apart from David Cameron, who fits all those bills, where do these people fit into the party in the future?
The Conservative Party has got to be a broad party, and that has to include everybody. I'm surprised that Iain isn't on the list. Iain has a lot to offer, worked very hard at the last general election, has an immense amount of personality, and is a great dresser, and has lots and lots of personality. And I'm actually surprised that Iain isn't on the list. But in a way, it's interesting that the mere fact that Iain isn't on the list shows that there is so much talent at the moment within the Conservative Party. Party, that unfortunately in this particular tranche, and it's not a final grouping, Iain has had to be left out. But I'm absolutely confident that as the A-list evolves and more people are invited to go on it, that people like Iain will be on that list.
How difficult is it for you to criticise this without it being seen to be sour grapes? Because you're obviously disappointed.
Well, I mean, I thought long and hard about whether to come on tonight because, I mean, I am disappointed. A lot of people out there are absolutely gutted. And I don't want it to look like sour grapes because it's genuinely not. On the way here tonight, I found out 2 names of people who aren't on the list that I would have thought were absolute dead certs. And one of them is very high up in central office and, I mean, very high up in the Cameron administration. So who am I to complain about it? And I'm not complaining. The referee has made his decision and I totally accept it. One point I would make about what Saida just said, though, about showcasing. Why are we not actually publicly announcing who all these people are? Why are they dripping out all of a sudden? We should be we should be proud of our A-list. They are the people that are going to represent us. We should know exactly who they are.
Saida, is that a fair point?
The Conservative Party, Gavin and Iain, you know, is extremely proud of all of its candidates on the parliamentary list. And we've never published the list. We've had 500, 600, up to 1,000 potential candidates on our candidates list. And we've been proud of all of them, and we've not published that list. And I think it's absolutely right that we continue in that vein and not publish this list either.
OK, thank you both very much. Natty dressers included.